What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the official Tom Swift discussion review show. This is Decoding Tom Swift, and I am your co-host, Rhayne Coleman, the Carefree Black Nerd, Carefree Blurred on Twitter and TikTok, Carefree Black Nerd everywhere else. And I have with me today a voice that should be very familiar. Please let these folks know who is on the mic with me for the 13th time for this.
Wow.
I think it's been
Um, M. Haynes, aka Luce as a Deuce, aka the president of the Leave Barton in Space Club.
Ha! All right. We get to it. That's what. Ha! Okay. Okay. Good. So we starting off hot. This is season 1, episode 9, and the night to remember, which I kept wanting to sing. Let's make this a night to remember. Get
Hey.
ready, baby, tonight. No, so, like, had to be intentional. That wasn't a mistake. Um, so in this episode, the penultimate episode 9, Tom continues his search for the last capsule piece, which leads him to an interesting situation with Susannah, aka Rashida Jones. He also learns some information about his childhood that he was never supposed to know. Meanwhile, Zenzi and Isaac uncover the Congressmen Eskol's hidden agenda. All right, it's a lot of shit going on in this episode. I think Cameron was true to his word when he said that some shit was going to be going on.
And what he said that the end that it was gonna make you cry.
God, yes. So please, right off the bat, if you have not, check out the episode of Conversation with Cameron Johnson. That episode that we had is a very special Tom Swift episode. Lord, yes, check it out. It will be in the show notes. My God. Let me start off by saying this show is so freaking good. To the point that I am truly in my feelings behind this being the penultimate episode. Like, knowing there's one more in this season, I'll say that, because fingers crossed things go well. But I am especially upset because this is such a good story being told. And I know it's going to sound like a broken record, but it's coming from a very authentic, creative team. And though we get good shows all the time, we don't always get good shows that center these identities. And so, again, just want to start off. I am actually very sad right now. So, just want to throw that out there. One other thing I do want to address, which is freaking hilarious. So I have a Twitter friend who I will remain nameless, but he has been in conversations about Tom Swift that you and I have had, us and other Tom Swift aficionados, I don't know, cult members, whatever. And mind you, this is episode 9. This is the 11th episode of Tom Swift or Tom Swift adjacent material that you and I have recorded. So thus 11 episodes, 11 week, 9, 10 week, 11 information has been put out. So I would like to read off this tweet. I found it hilarious. So this person says, wait, so this is what y'all been talking about? I thought Tom Swift was just an expression. Okay. And so we were like, are you what? So for all this time that we've been discussing Tom Swift, you thought that this was an expression. And he goes on to say something like, because we asked, like, what did you think it meant? And he says, a rather dashing or cunning man. And I'm like, you're not wrong, but like, what? I don't know. I just thought that was hilarious considering maybe everyone doesn't know Tom Swift, but like, and we were like, we have literally been posting pictures of a person, and it's a full podcast about it.
So wait.
Yeah.
So, did all of us just knew this random man and just decided to talk about him on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock for just whatever? I mean, 9 o'clock, whatever reason.
Listen, and he was like, in my defense, I don't really watch CW shows. I'm like, that's fair. But in this context, I don't know how fair that is, all things considered. I don't know. I'm like, I just don't. I don't see how. I don't see how you got there from here, but it was hilarious to me. I'm trying to find that other tweet that he put out, which was like, "What are you talking?" Oh, my bad, y'all. I thought I had anything to say. So he said, I avoid CW stuff, and we're like, okay, and then Andre Asante says it's legit been all over our profiles and clips and pics, like in the bio of like so many like this is. It's like he probably. I don't know. I mean, in his defense, maybe I don't know. I want to defend him with
No,
this.
I stop. Don't defend because I
Oh,
don't get it.
hey, he said he Googled Tom Swift yesterday and found out it was a real thing, a legit show. He said, and I thought the black man y'all used was the OG Tom Swift, the OG rather dashing and cunning. And I told him, I said, I will not say your name, but I will be bringing this up. He said that's like that my brain translated y'all threads is that it was something like, oh, I'm trying to get like you. Oh, you good out there? Or I see you. I'm like, what are you?
See, you had to put more thought into making this make sense than to just accepting this from
Hey,
someone who were watching. Because
look,
how do you get there?
I thought it was funny. I said, how do you? No, same question. Like, how out of all the stuff, 9 weeks, maybe you don't know for sure. I don't know, but maybe no, because I was gonna say maybe he has CW muted, but no, because I don't think I ever tweet just CW on its own. It's always CW Tom Swift or Tom Swift CW. So I don't know. Either way, I was like, bro, like
Ooh,
maybe if it was just like once, hey, we like this show, but we've been like campaigning hard for this show for 9 weeks, 9+ weeks to be quite honest. So I thought that was hilarious. So what a interesting way to start the episode.
Go for it.
Oh, now if he gives me permission, I will be linking him in the show notes, but probably not. So, oh my god. Okay, that out the way. Episode 9. How are we feeling? What's going on?
You heard what I said. That's how I'm feeling. That's my
Yo,
end takeaway. That overruled everything else I thought about this episode. My end takeaway is like, oh, okay. So this is how. I'm like, cool. Leave them.
yeah, yeah. I I feel the same way. However, I've been trying to not see it from his point of view, his being Barton, but more or less think, okay, I have my own personal feelings, and we'll get to that. But like just looking at the show itself, assuming there's a season 2, how does this play out? Because this revelation has completely changed the entire landscape of the show. Like there is no going back. And I tried to rationalize it, like, oh no, maybe Susannah planted a false memory. No, she was 12. No,
She was
that's
younger
not
than Tom.
right. Exactly. So, but there's that. Um, I want to focus on Justin for a second because I this isn't the same Justin we got in the first couple episodes. This is a whole nother person.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like this.
Like, you don't like the new person, or you don't like the fact that he's changed, or both?
Well, both, but not. So, and the impression that I was under in the beginning was that he was just as capable as Tom. He was just in another industry, and I assumed Tom would need his help occasionally, and maybe they would get together. But the Justin that we got initially was, I'm this attractive, wealthy, queer guy who was interested in Tom. However, once we got, I think the not the cotillion, the Beachella episode, with the Swift site, that's when he like made that comment, like, I wasn't waiting for you. Like I felt that he was more confident and stood his own. So I'm fine with the Justin we got. I just feel like it's not the same one from the beginning. So to make this switch and there not be anything leading up to it, like, oh, I'm constantly calling you. Like there was times throughout these different missions where you could have seen him call and then like sent it to voicemail. Because this guy, even his desires of like marriage, I was like, wait a minute, what is this? We're practically boyfriends. In whose mind? When did? And I know people do feel entitled at times, and sometimes you can feel so comfortable or so euphoric from like talking to someone new, and you're like, oh, I've never felt like this before, and have these feelings and maybe even project a little, but that's not the Justin that I got in the beginning. So
no, I'm with you. I'm 1,000% with you, because I kept thinking about that line all throughout the episode where Justin was like, well, Tom was like, oh yeah, so if you've been calling me blase blase blase, and Justin was like, I haven't, and just went on about his life. Like I kept thinking about that line because I was like, that does not match up with the person that we're seeing now. And I even tweeted out on Tuesday. I was like, ooh, I'm sorry, Justin, but you invented this relationship. I do not know where you got this from, because there's been no indication that y'all have been actually dating. Y'all screwed on the motorcycle once and went your separate ways.
And actually, at the funeral, y'all messed around in the closet or the observatory. So I've been watching catfish clips lately, and there is a few folks who have like this invented relationship in their head, or they have taken 2 weeks of conversation as like we're in a relationship, and that's what I got from here.
Have they even had 2 weeks of conversation though?
Right, because this show, this episode 9, is about, I would say, let me look at my calendar, because I'm like, I'm going to track how long this show has aired, like in continuity. And it is about June, I'd say June 21st. Because either June 21st or like June 17th. So 17th was a Friday, 21st was a Tuesday. And I say that because we see the files that Susannah had in her device, which showed the stabbing of the doctor by Nathan. That was dated, timestamped at June 14th. And if this is just a couple days later or even a week, we're not that far. So that being said, like, even that 6-month period that Barton was in outer space, there was nothing alluding to they were messing around for 6 months. So, but okay, so now in his defense, kinda, when Tom enlisted him to like help out with selling Susannah on Swift's site, and they were calling each other sweetie and honey, and this, I was like, okay, maybe this is just like a bit they're doing, but no. No, like when Justin was having the conversation with Susannah by himself, he was like, oh, how do you know when it's time to turn it on a long-term investment, this and that? And I was like, when has this is making me even more frustrated because of episode 6, where Lorraine explicitly said, I tried to push you towards Justin. We still have no clarity on what Justin's position is. So this is weird.
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. I figured that what they were doing at the table was just kind of trying to play up, because it was essentially what, like a quadruple date or something that they were trying to pull off with Rashida Jones there. But I'm now starting to wonder, I was like, did Justin take this to heart? Like, does he really think, like, because I'm a bit concerned. I was like, because you've really kind of created this relationship. I was like, and nothing that we have seen will lead us to that.
Yeah, at all. I feel bad for him. However, this is weird. I don't know.
I must say, it's given the stalker girl in a 90s and thousands sitcom.
Those definitely is. Yeah, he's. I'm really interested in seeing if he even pops up in episode 10.
Though, it's giving that would have been an interesting angle. but you would have had to really like play that off. That would have been an interesting angle because we used to seeing like that one person like the first person to come to mind is Myra from Family Matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like these
Mm-hmm.
people who have this whole like imagine like we're gonna be together forever and like where
Yeah.
you at? Like that. I think that would have been interesting to play that angle, within a queer relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to
Mm-hmm.
get us to that, and we
Yeah.
didn't get there.
And I'm not even really upset at this Justin. I'm just
Mhm.
upset that he doesn't match the Justin we got initially. Because like you said, it would have been interesting if a through line of like, will they, won't they with Tom and Isaac and Tom and Rowan, there was this person who was definitely dead set on, I want to be with you. And so, what does that make Tom if you are ignoring this person's advances, but you're constantly needing their help? Because
Yeah,
just even said, like, my therapist says that you keep taking from me and you don't give. And even then I was like, but when? It so the first favor was finding out about the rollback, those files, and then is that not it? Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't.
maybe the that wasn't the cotillion, but oh yeah, the Swift Trailer thing, like that whole like that because Justin was taking people around during that episode, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, no, okay, yeah, and I'm not gonna take that away from him. Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't think it's been anything else though, because I feel like that was the last time we saw Justin. Because wasn't that the
To be
motorcycle
quite
episode?
honest, yes. Like, because that's what, like, him and Rowan been. It's like, okay, this is so gay. It's like Disney's Child. Michelle has been a member of Destiny's Child for longer than Latoya has been a member of Destiny's Child, like
Mhm,
publicly as the brand, not Girls Time and all that. So it's
mhm.
like Rowan has been around for much longer than Justin, even though we were introduced to Justin first.
Yeah,
So, like, we had a question like, oh, where's Justin? I think the episode where, I think episode 6, because of him and Rowan getting closer. And I just, I just don't like this depiction of Justin
yeah,
compared to what we got already. So
yeah.
that's
No, I agree. I mean, it's just it's just it could have been done differently. I'm gonna say that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, kudos to him, the actor. You doing what you
Oh
need to
yeah,
do.
most definitely, most definitely.
But I'm even, you know what? In all of my critique, I actually am okay. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. My critique still stands. My concern still stands. Nothing about that is I'm not walking any of that back.
Mhm.
However, I do like the idea of this version of Justin, even if it wasn't him, if it was just another character, because we are getting, like you said, we haven't had a Myra in a queer character. So I do like this gay, black or biracial man who is explicitly like letting it be known, I want to be married. I want to be married to this man. So I do like that part of it, even though I don't agree with
With
his
Angel Justice
depiction
for.
now, yeah, versus before. But I do like that version of a gay person on a show like this exists, where it's
Mhm.
not played for laughs, it's not token, it's not oh, check out that gay, how dare he want to be married. Like, it's not that. Like, even Susannah within all her bullshit is taking this seriously, and because she
Yeah,
even gave him advice, Tom does not need a chief of staff, he needs a co-pilot.
yeah,
um to what end was that the rollbackness in her talking to me really doesn't matter because it still feels genuine.
yeah. I mean, even because, and that's one thing I have to give Susanna. That's one thing that she does. She does her little shady stuff, wi- um, but it rings true. Like
Mm-hmm.
when she was reaching out and like supporting Quinn. Yeah, she was stealing codes, whatever it was she was doing, but she was supporting the trans rights.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even going all the way back to her calling out Tom for
Yep.
not being on the ball. Yeah, she
Mm-hmm.
was doing that because she also has plans for him, but it
Yeah.
didn't make it true.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And that's why I think Susanna Rashida Jones is one of the greater villains from what we've seen so far.
Yeah,
Um, because I'll be quite honest, some of the stuff she was saying initially, I was like, oh, I 100% agree as far as technology is concerned. I'm like, damn, they really got us
it was like,
with Yes, like, oh, this been points. Damn it.
Shit ain't wrong.
Oh, Susannah, this is again why I want a season 2, 3, 4, and whatever, at least a season 2 or 3, because this, her being okay. We'll get into her in a minute because I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay.
Nathan and Zenzi, but first Zenzi and Isaac. So this actually, no, what I said earlier, I was trying to think of the time because this is the next day from episode 8, but it's still. Wait, did Nathan kill the doctor in episode 8, right? Or was it
It was the
episode
end of
7?
episode 7.
Okay, so I would say it's a week. I would say it's about the 21st. Doesn't really matter, but Zenzi and Isaac meet up to so she can give him food to give to the hostages because there's still two hostages and that Latino assassin who's downstairs. Isaac has been me this whole season. He's like, why the fuck are you feeding these men? And then she's like, oh, well, salmon. That's all we had is leftovers in the fridge. And then she heated it up and she's like, well, have you ever had cold salmon? This and that. And I'm just like, Zenzi, what is your problem? You are laying with a man who has been proven to be affiliated with a group that is trying to murder us. You are also feeding hostages who broke in trying to kill y'all. Where's your head at?
I feel like what they're trying to do with her characterization is, it feels like, putting this in context with some of her other actions, with men and outside, she's caring to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I have to do too much mental work to get there.
Okay.
Like, I can, like, because this is somebody, like, this is a character type, somebody who's like just really nice and really caring and just don't realize, even when people are doing wrong to them, they still try to do right by them.
Mm-hmm.
I can get that as a character type, but I'm not sure if that's really what they want to do with her character, because she also does have times she stands on her own and be like, no, I'm not doing this.
At the end of the day, it feels like a reason to have her and Isaac together to talk, but I did not like that. I'm like, why are you? And oh, you never had cold salmon? And Zenzi, what are you talking about?
Give them food poisoning, they'll be all right.
Like,
She
give
didn't
them crackers. Like, if you truly wanted to give, I'm sure there's some crackers.
know.
Like, come on. I understand keeping them fed enough that you can still get information out of them, but like, that's for Isaac to take care of. He's the one with the military espionage background. Zenzi, stop. You went to Spelman. In my head, I have that she went to Spelman. You went to Spelman in Atlanta and then came back to New York. You are not a spy. So while you were getting your book learning, that's when Isaac was killing. So that happens. Oh God, all this stuff happened like together. So with this particular storyline, they talk. She mentions last night trying to, I guess, kind of apologize for, which to me felt okay. How do you feel about that? That almost apology or explanation, I'll say, from Zenzi.
It feels like she walked back what she said actually last night.
Thank you.
And I'm like, stick to your guns, sis. I don't agree, but stick to your guns.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it. I mean, like, I don't agree with the hill that you dying on, but shit, die there.
Yeah.
Stick to it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And this is messy. This is what you need. This is soap opera type shit. But I was very frustrated because I'm like, you stood up for yourself, regardless to how that turned out. You stood up for yourself to be with Nathan. Or maybe even not to be with Nathan, just to be in control of your own. What is that?
I said, just to have him for that night.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and I'm with you. I feel like if that's what you said, stick by that. Don't walking back. Because now my thought process is, let's say Nathan never showed up, never with his messy ass walked through that living room. What was the end game for you to tell Isaac, no, I'm standing on my own feet. I'm not about to coddle to your feelings. No. And let's say Nathan was completely out the picture, but what happens next? Because if you were just going to close that door and go back in and lay down, why does it matter that he saw Nathan? Why are you bringing this up now? Like, are you truly ashamed of it? Like, what is going on there? I, I don't know. Zenzi girl, you in danger. Lord, oh my God. Then we get at this point, Tom and Susannah are upstairs, and Isaac and Zenzi are speaking, and then we have Nathan going through the coat closet, which is like a whole room the size of my place. Going through Susannah's stuff, he finds a flash drive and gets caught. Him, Isaac, and Zenzi are in the study, I don't know, an office, and he's discussing, well, hey, after the stuff I told you last night, I'm trying to get out the roll back, and the only way to do so is to get these files. I want to help y'all, this, then the third. I don't like Nathan. I'm trying to remove that from this particular conversation to make sure I'm as unbiased as possible. But how do we feel about that scene in which he essentially lied to and tried to trick Isaac and Zenzi? Yo.
So, okay. So, here's my thing. Like, this particular part of the story feels like real soap opera.
Yes.
And it's to the point where I'm just like, sure, maximum drama. Like, yeah, that's what's happening. You're lying just to create more drama. Because that's really what it feels like. It feels like you're just like adding these particular elements just to be like drama, 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 and it's not really like logical for real, for real.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, fine, sure, sure.
Yo. Okay. I don't disagree. I hate Nathan, and I feel like what would have made I don't, well, not really. So him trying to delete those files is like, one, I'm thinking Susannah would have backed those up somewhere. So to delete those, it's like, what? So what? I'm sure she has a copy. She's not stupid. But let's just say that's the only copy. Okay, that's fine. What now? That felt so. I'm okay with this threesome story, but with the, and I can't get past this, the Nathan we got in episode 1 in the pilot will not allow me to feel for this Nathan, because he was so hell-bent on, yeah, we infected Barclay and now we can see what they're doing and we're gonna get them. We're gonna, and who
now,
has a problem?
now we established many episodes ago that we got to take the pilot out of our minds.
You're right. You're right. So even removing that,
Mhm.
I still don't have anything for Nathan, because what do you want? I get the show is from the perspective of Tom and his crew, and we're only getting Nathan because of Zenzi.
Mhm.
But I still don't understand. I don't understand what you want. I don't understand how far I can throw you, because you like Zenzi and you want to be a politician and you're getting money from the Swifts and you're also indebted to the rollback. My question is, if there is no rollback, if you're free to do whatever you want, what are you doing? Are you trying to marry Zenzi? You said you care for her. That's fine. I probably would have even took a "and I love you" because it is so melodramatic. But what is it that you want?
I feel like that's it. I feel like he wants her to be his Olivia Pope.
That's just not
I,
Zenzi.
I mean, I don't disagree, but
Mhm.
if your question is like, what does he want? I think that's his end goal, because even with the trying to delete the footage, I don't think he really cared about, like you mentioned, Susannah probably got a backup. I don't think he cared about that. I think he just wanted to make sure that Zenzi didn't see it.
Okay. I can rock with that.
I would say I really feel like his whole MO is just like, I gotta do. I mean, because think about it, everything he did from the food and them lunch containers, talking about the I can't remember what author that was, whatever book that was,
that black
like
book.
even feeding her the information about the rollback and who they was trying to kill. Like all of that is really just to get on Zenzi's good side because he wants her to be his Olivia Pope.
I still don't like him, but I see what you're saying, and I can try my best, but I can recognize that I don't like him, and I do think that some of the things that he's done, I can recognize that he is stuck between a rock and a hard place. I can do that and not be biased. I just don't see it for him as Zenzi. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't like it because I feel like with all the other men that you've put in Zenzi's path and all this terrible like dating history she's had, it doesn't feel like he is like a step above this. I don't know. Whatever. I don't like that. He's boring. He's boring as hell. I'm gonna say that. But they get him. Isaac hems him up. They find the. Can I say this? Ashley Murray has been. She was getting an Oscar for this episode. All that hollering and screaming she been doing, girl. Oh my god! I know her throat was gone at the end of this episode, but no. You for the
also, I know. I mean, this is random, but I did not realize that Nathan was that damn tall.
No, really, because when Isaac, I was like, now y'all should have. Don't try to play Mapu like that. Get a different angle. Don't try to play him. Because I was like, I did think that. Out of this.
I was like, he could pat the top of their bed.
Yeah, Nathan could have easily just pulled his arms out. Like he should have had Nathan on the ground because his head would have still came up to Isaac's chest. So like, don't play with him. I was like, no, y'all know y'all wrong. No, you're right though. I was like, this looks weird, but maybe it's the way they had to block the shot, but I did not appreciate that at all. Not at all. So what ultimately happens is that Zenzi has a great scene where she's cussing him out about it. She doesn't disregard the fact that he saved her, but it's the fact that first of all, you lied to me. Secondly, you're trying to delete the evidence. Thirdly, with you trying to save me, you're making shit worse. And she even mentioned, like, I appreciate him saving me, so I don't want to, like, just get rid of him. And Isaac reaches out to one of his buddies from, I don't know, Guantanamo Bay, whatever, or some shit, and they put Nathan in protective custody. But I'm thinking, Rashida Jones just showed that she can, like, these people, her agents are bugged. Why wouldn't she bug this? Go ahead.
Yo. Words cannot express the concern that was in my spirit.
Oh yeah,
I just knew she was gonna press a button and somewhere Rome was gonna drop dead, and I was gonna be no more good.
See, yeah, but I
was just like, I really want time to put two and two together. Be like, hey,
I'm saying, like, why would she only bug these two? Because they're white? No, that's not. No, it's like that's not it. Well, I know Latino guy, but see, I don't know if she just no, because she did say I bet it was so and so who told. But I think she know I'll say this: if this show ain't done nothing else, that Latino assassin, they have done him so well. That man is stellar, and I haven't said it this whole season, but I feel like he definitely gets a MVP favorite award because though he's the enemy, consistently just, and that actor, oh my god, let me see if I can find his name because I want, if I ever get any of my books made live action, I want him in something. I don't care if I got a race bend a character to make it fit. That man deserves his flowers. Oh my god!
Because the way he was looking with fear and trembling as the other two men dropped dead beside him, I was like, I said, you may be next.
look, he look. That's why he was going so hard killing everybody because he knew
He
he was
knew.
like, what is it when you what they say about jobs? You make yourself unfireable or something like gather all these skills so you can't be fired. That's what he did. What is this man's name? Cause no, that's not him. Oh Lord. Am I oh my god, wait. Okay, never mind. Just know when I find his name, I'll put it in the show notes because I do not want to say the wrong name. Yeah, so that I would have preferred that Isaac ended Nathan because like just end him. Like what that may be a bit harsh, but what are we protecting him for?
Yeah, true. I mean, really just at Zenzi's best. But the thing is, like, doesn't that look like doesn't that look like him killing the competition?
So okay, you're right. Okay, so let's say not kill him. But I well, no, it makes sense, and I think I'm my bias is speaking out. I do understand the arc that we've got with Nathan, and I do think this makes the most sense because he loves Zenzi, he cares for Zenzi, she cares for him. It's a way to get him off the board and also keep him safe because he wanted to be out of the rollback. But I guess my question is, for the rollback to be this built up, powerful organization, how far can you
Where can you
how
hide?
far can you send him away that he's not untouchable? If the
Right.
rollback is in politics and law enforcement, like truly your buddies from whatever, who said that they aren't even the rollback? So like,
That was my thought. That was really my thought. It was like you could be sending him directly into some arms, and even
mhm,
like they don't even really have to be in the road back for them to like to set him up, because these people got money. You just slide them a couple $1,000. They're like, all right.
yeah, no, get rid of them, yeah. So I don't know. I try to manage my expectations because I understand that this is a show and they're going to do things to make sense for the show.
Mhm.
Like with the season 2, I doubt it would open with Nathan, being crucified on a wall of something. Like I doubt it would open like that. But I mean, hell, with what we got with Bart in this episode, who knows? We may. Um, um, there is we mentioned the Tom and Justin thing. Justin is in therapy, which kudos to them for talking about therapy and copays and standing up for yourself. Um, the conversations about Justin wanting to be married a bit weird to me, but all of this being done gets Susannah upstairs so that we can put the Swift sight on her and get her memories about the capsule piece, which she has in her possession from Utah or
Mhm.
whatever. I think Utah. How do you feel about Tom and Susannah's conversation in the observatory? That
I'm still not convinced that she wasn't playing him.
that she
It's
don't want to
like
play. Oh, okay.
no,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say no. That I'm gonna say that she wasn't playing him then because it seemed like she. I know that she mentioned, like, oh, I want, I have these plans for you. I want you to be a part of the roller back, this and
Mm-hmm.
that. But to me, it seemed like she kind of relented, like gave up the capsule piece a bit too easily, to the point where I'm like, she got a plan. I don't trust it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
What was it gonna call? Project
oh Lord,
Operation Mosley. I don't know what that's
yeah.
about, but yeah.
Like, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. She giving you this so she can do something,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of saw that she did do that. So the whole conversation, I was watching the screen like, that's suspicious,
Yo, right.
weird.
Yo, yeah. F her. Um, I will say I loved the fact that she did not hide from the rollback. Like at that point, it was no longer mystery. We're tricking you. You're the villain. It was like, no, I'm outright letting you know I am the villain. So what's what? Because I feel like when you have Tom and he's built up as being this genius engineer and all this inventor, and then you sell her as the female Tom Swift, I just like that she's like, okay, we're just gonna cut to it. We're not playing these games. Like letting us know that she knew what was going on from the beginning. So I did like that.
Did you think that we wouldn't have to bug them?
And I was like, yes, what the? I was like, yes. How would y'all not think of that? How? You're so smart. But I, oh, this is gonna sound bad, but I wonder if that was, and not even including Zenzi in this. I wonder if that was just a difference in like how a man would think about a situation like this versus a woman. But then I don't know because we do have Zenzi. Um, but
I I just think it was underestimating, to be honest.
yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, yeah, it's which is such a smart idea because even if the bodies are dead, we still know where they are. Like, oh, Susannah is
Mm.
she's smart. I
Yeah.
like that about her. Um, I'm much like you. I think that because they've killed so many other people who were on par with Tom Swift in their specific field, that getting him on their team would be good for the road back. But my thing was, how do you have a whole monologue about unchecked inventions and like the consequences of those, but then still say, "Oh, we still want you to invent things, just be more responsible." And I was like, "There's nothing that Tom has invented that is irresponsible." Well, let me take that back. Everything can be used as a weapon: a
Hmm.
pencil, a law, a microphone, a blade of hair. But Tom's inventions have not been used for evil or wrongdoing more than anybody, more than a bookshelf. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many. So I was like,
I think
wait.
I think you can take that one or two ways.
Mm-hmm,
I think you can take it the way that Tom kind of called them out is basically them being hypocrites. Like, oh
mm-hmm,
yeah, technology don't need to move forward, but we'll do this. We'll use this stuff, but the rest of y'all don't need that.
mm-hmm.
I think you can take it that way, or you could also take it as like yes, Tom stuff hasn't been used, for any particular wrongdoing, and they're gonna make sure to keep it that way.
Yeah, and I'm with that. Because I do think there should be checks and balances. However, like Tom said, who gave you the authority
Yeah.
to be that person? Um, I also don't like that she brought up the cotton gin and that he filled in the blanks, talking about the slave trade. I feel like if you're gonna have her say it, let her lean all in it. Let her lean into it because it still is like, what are you doing? You think this black man doesn't understand the history of slavery and its effect on black people in America, and then folks across the like you feel like he, and I know it was more or less rhetorical, like look at what technology can do, what in its chaos and evil, but I was like, this is very stereotypical white woman of you. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, no, like, bitch, what are you talking about? Um, and I think I
I'm
like
tempted
that
to
about
say
her.
that was in. Yeah, I would say I think that may have been intentional.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm definitely like, and so as much as I don't like Susannah, I do love the character. I feel
Yeah.
like they did her well. I just she mentioned. Oh, okay. I think she killed her parents. I'm gonna just say that. I think Susannah
I
killed
agree.
her parents. I
Hmm.
do not, and I thought that before, but like this confirmed. Oh, she definitely killed them. She, I feel like she is legitimate. But like Tom says, you want me to be your like? So he said slave boy or Nick something. He said. And she was like, no, I'm
House
not
boy
asking.
or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I'm not asking. And I'm like, and so I do truly believe her, but I also believe that let's say Tom did join the rollback, that he doesn't have a seat at the table like others. This feels very much supremacist conversation. But what I think she's doing is taking real events and spinning them to help sell her story.
Just gotta stop.
Mm-hmm.
Especially considering, what Susannah tells him.
Yep. That's exactly
This
it.
feels like one of those. Oh, if it like okay, let me back up. If it is one of those like almost kind of like supremacists, like you're just going to be the hired help type of deal,
Mm-hmm.
considering what Susannah tells him about what his daddy did, it could
Mm-hmm.
be one of those. Look at how these black people treated you. Come on over here with us. We'll accept you for everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I could see that. I could very well see that. Especially because I feel like they are two sides of the same coin. They
Mm-hmm.
have both dealt with, not beat for beat, but they've both dealt with some of the same trauma as children. It's just she's known about it longer, so she's been able to kind of cultivate this thought about it, for lack of a
Yeah,
better term. Like he is where she was 13 years ago, or however long ago it was.
yeah,
He's just now being taught the truth, and now she can prey on that. And you
yeah.
can appeal to this, oh, we're accepting of you. You have a seat at the table, blah, whatever, but you'll know that you'll never,
Exactly.
like, especially if she got Nathan under her thumb, you definitely ain't about to be on no
You
board
gonna
of
be
white
standing right
peace.
there.
Get
You'll
out
be
of here.
standing right there beside Rowan.
Right. So, whew, Lord. And, even to like revisit that time travel theory, perhaps she is on the verge of discovering that. If you, Susannah, are the one who is able to use inventions how you so feel, but other people can't, who's to say that, time travel ain't something that either she's about to stumble upon or she maybe has a handle on? Hmm?
That Swift site may help with that because when you think about it, it's kind of them like sending themselves back into whatever memory or what have you.
Come on.
Listen, listen, the time travel
Baby.
theory is coming together.
Listen, next episode 10 is Tom Swift and the Days of Future Past. That's what it is. Because
Listen,
at this point, dang. I I love this show. I love this show. Okay, so Tom gives her the Swift site and he walks her back to, like, okay, first of all, I keep forgetting that I'm grown because this girl said she was 12 in 2012. And I was like, okay, so you would be 26 now. No, 22. What? I am really grown. Like, we are not peers. Like, truly are not peers, but that's
I had to let it go. I had to let it go
yeah,
because that hurt my
yeah,
feelings.
yeah. And when Tom said take me back to when I was 13 in 2013, I wanted to punch him. Don't say that out loud. Don't do that. Do not stress me. I didn't ask for this, Tom. So, but yeah, she goes back to when she was 12. And so what I got, and maybe you correct me if I'm wrong or if this is outlandish, but what I got from her story is that one, her parents never really liked her or was proud of her, but she was smart and they maybe exploited her brilliance, but never truly, like, she could never be enough. So same with Tom, whereas with her it was just maybe you're just not good enough, but Tom's not good enough was directed at his sexuality, where hers was just like you're just purely not good enough.
I
Except,
wish,
mhm,
I was
go ahead.
going to say, I wish that they had done, because this is what I thought where they
Yep,
was going. I thought they were
yep,
going to like parallel Tom's sexuality with her gender. And I was like, I
hmm
wish they had kind of leaned into that a little bit more because that would have
hmm
made it like really click.
and I wish we had got a flashback of a
Yeah,
young Susannah, like
yeah,
even if it was like a maybe 2 minute thing. I think we should have gotten that with her to even set us up for the one we got with Tom. I mean, it still worked. I
yeah.
don't think this was bad, but I was like, let's, because it's like they're giving us Susannah and all her evilness, but you're also showing us the reason for it. She's not evil just because I am an evil person. She has had a life that you could very much see both her and Tom on a course that's very similar, and her ending up here and him ending up there.
Yeah.
So kudos to the actress. I can get her name either. You know who you is, Susanna Rock. No, I'll look that up. But kudos to her because she really sold it. Elizabeth Cappuccino.
Is it her
Yeah.
name for
hmm
real?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's her house name. House of Cappuccino. Yeah, she did that. Um, dang, man, it was so good. So I knew when she said, and again, this show tried to trick us. They do this thing where the show gives you something that's blatantly like in your face, and then they move past it so quick, much like the Latino dude as a waiter. That moved pretty fast. With this, she said, they were talking about something. She said, "Well, I know what my parents did to me," and then Tom came immediately after with another line. I was like, "No, no, 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 that was intentional. There's no." So if she's saying she know what her parents did to her, then what she's saying is you don't know what your parents did to you. So what? So I was like, oh wait a minute, no. Yeah. See, this show thing they go. I'm trying to guess everything in episode 10. I don't even care. I'm trying to guess it all. So she says that he gives her the pill or the Swift site. She recalls the memory and whatnot, and she lets him know like, hey, Barton, and this is when she's under the influence of the Swift site. Barton did some things to you that he didn't want nobody to know, and as it turns out, Barton is evil. He is truly evil. So, I guess jumping right to it, the pills that Susannah took that she created, but that she took were to like enhance her intellect. When the study her parents put out discussed the pills, the gummies, and what they could do, Barton read that in some textbook, got the drug, the pill, the gummy, some kind of way, and his logic was, I'm going to rewrite the brain, and so there were attraction pills. So we get young Tom Swift again, which that actor, kudos to you. You are killing it. Jameer Vega. You are killing it. So they show a flashback of him, I guess, painting a car pink. His dad says, why pink? And I'm like, you're a scientist. I really feel like that color shouldn't matter like that, but okay. Tom says, because I like it. I like pink. And then Barton sits down. He says, well, as long as you like it. Pulls out the gummies.
I say, but hold on. Before we get there, I just have to say this for like a second. For like a second, I was like, oh, Susannah was lying. This ain't gonna actually happen.
Yes. Yeah, that's what, and what I truly thought was gonna happen is that it would happen like she said, but it would not have been for that reason. It would have been like, I thought we would have got a scene of Lorraine and Barton talking about, well, I tried to enhance his brain or something, and this happened. Which I guess we might still get, but either way, right now I hate him. So Barton goes and gives this boy these drugs that he has a terrible reaction to, which Susannah, she did as well. And he's about to throw up. He's like over the fireplace, heaving and hacking, and then he's standing, and then he's shaking like crazy on a couch. And Barton's like, "Oh, I'm here. It's your dad." Blah, whatever. What he tried to do is conversion therapy. He tried to alter the part of Tom's mind that makes him gay. Barton can die a slow death out in space in his broken spacecraft, and I'll be okay. I think we'll all be okay. He does not ever have to come back to Earth. Now, yeah, go ahead.
Are you sure? You sure?
Well, I'll say this one thing. One thing that I questioned is, okay, Barton did it. He had the reaction and didn't do it again. I wondered if, because these drugs are specifically designed to enhance Susannah's like brain capacity, is that what happened to Tom by accident? Like, is that like, I wonder if his genius is inherently him, or if it also maybe has something to do with that drug. Like, I wonder.
So it very well could be. They could, like spring it on in episode 10. But the way I understood it was that Barton read like the textbook or the studies or what have you, and had somebody like alter the drug or the vitamins so that they would be like impacting his attraction.
Yeah.
So I read it as, they are no longer for like enhancing brains. Now they're for to make you straight.
Okay, well then I do like that better because then now Tom's intellect is his. Because like maybe we might get something in season 2 where Susannah's indirectly responsible for how smart you are. But I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not
Yeah,
the case.
yeah.
My only other thing, well, not only, but one of the other things was, I said, if this worked, this is still weird because one, identity, gender, and sexuality, all of this stuff is a spectrum. But who's to say what type of woman Tom would have been attracted to? So now in this, I say this, and I don't mean to be, not, this isn't to make anybody like laughing at anyone's expense. So charge to my head and not my heart if it comes off that way. But my thing is, what if he then ended up with a more masculine woman, a more physically, maybe a thicker, more broader, more muscular, or even just in mannerism, a more what we deem masculine woman? Like then what? I'm like, to what end are you doing this? Because again, if it worked, what does this then mean for Tom? And what does this mean going forward? That I, that was just weird.
It really just underscores the ridiculousness of conversion therapy in the first place. Because now, like I said, now what? This this could have gone any number of ways, and not to
Mm-hmm.
mention that you bring up like sexuality, identity, and such. He could have been, they it say it worked,
Mm-hmm.
and Tom ends up not being 100% straight. What's to stop him from still painting cars pink? He could still be just as flamboyant as he is right now. Just now, he, I guess, solely attracted to women.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that you're embarrassed about, the stuff that you are quote unquote trying to stop, still probably would change because
Mm-hmm.
that's a completely different thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just goes to how ridiculous it is.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's so ridiculous, because of how much damage that could have done,
Yep.
I have to firmly just be like, he can die.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
we could have ended the search right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when we could have just gone on about our lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um
No, no, you're absolutely right. I'm with you 100%. Because what you like, Tom Swift, you go to the length of possibly killing me
mhm.
because you hate this part of me that bad. So in all of our wealth and all of our genius and all everything that surrounds us, like, do you want grandkids? Because that could happen regardless of someone's gay, straight, bi, pan, or whatever. Like, what exactly do you want? Do you want me to fall in line and be this quote unquote masculine presenting person? Well, you already adopted our X-Men baby Lino. Like, why can't you put your efforts and energy into him? Like, you could
It-
have another baby. Y'all are wealthy. Like, I'm not even saying Lorraine has to carry the baby. Y'all have like, what is it? What is truly your malfunction?
and it's I don't know where you can go from here,
Mm.
because if we get, like, let's say that you know um Barton comes back in
Yeah.
the season finale. What do you like? What do you do with that?
Push
Because
like,
like, you can't. There's not an I'm sorry strong enough
mm-hmm.
to make this right.
Oh, absolutely. A- Especially when we got episode 6. So walk with me because this may be a bit of a reach, or it might take a minute.
Okay.
We open up this world with Nancy Drew, season 2, episode 15, The Celestial Visitor.
Mhm.
Tom is very adamant that he is trying to collect this thing to help send his father out of space. Then maybe his dad will love him. Maybe his dad will care for him, see him how he sees himself. We fast forward a year in real world time, I think 2 or 3 years in continuity, and we have Barton and Tom going back and forth. And however irresponsible Tom might be, taking away the wealth and the trappings of being rich, Tom is just a young adult who is irresponsible at times. It's unfortunate and it is part of his downfall, but That's just regular. Be he gay, straight, or whatever. Then we get episode 6, where Lorraine has given us this insight into her history, her and Barton's, because I'm assuming that baby was Barton's, where that young girl who she lost, the baby who she lost, was a girl who was the firstborn. If you can go through a loss like that, and you can, like, I guess my question is, how are you then not just, and now let me preface this, I'm not a parent. Maybe there's something that I'm missing because I am not raising a child, but how do you go through something like that so traumatic and go through the birth or have a second child and be upset with that child, but not just because they're irresponsible? Like, your anger, disdain, and upset and whatever, it's off his sexuality. And where it was kind of vague initially, because I have a homegirl who, she was like, well, I didn't get that Barton was mad. And I was like, no, this is, I can assure you this is what it is. Like, this is something that happens. So even if it's a little unclear to you in the first episode, like, well, maybe he's just mad because Tom is irresponsible, this episode confirms that has not been the case. So for this whole time, the sexuality has been the issue, when you could have just been building up this man to be the leader of this company, to take over, like, give him all the things, all the parts of you that you can. And yet you go so far as to, after already losing the baby and knowing what Lorraine went through, giving this boy drugs to change his mind, to ultimately rewrite his DNA, the essence of what is him. And it's like, I can't forgive you.
Like, that's that's tantamount to them losing another child, honestly.
Say that.
Um, and I'm glad you brought up Lorraine, because it now
Come on.
makes me think. It now makes me, I was like, oh, y'all had two very different responses to losing their first child. Because we see with Lorraine, she took in Tom and was like deciding, like, this is going to be your destiny. Like, you're basically my miracle baby.
Yep.
Whereas it seems like Barton has been like, you have to be the child that I want you to be, seemingly or assumingly, because, like, I lost my first one, so I want to make sure that this one is the one that I want. And it's just like, do y'all talk? Because there's no way. There's no way.
I would have. Well, and that's another thing. The way they set it up, it's, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but Lorraine has no idea. This is something that happened behind her back.
She can't. We've talked a bit about, like, stuff like not fitting and, people's characters changing, what have you. If Lorraine knows that just does not compute. It just doesn't. I'm sorry.
Right. I think Lorraine would have tried to kill him.
Yes.
Lorraine would have, especially after her. Stress of losing that child. And this, to me, calls into question, and this may be thinking too deep, but I'm still going to do it anyways. What type of husband is Barton? Like, is he a Black Reed Richards? Because how do you go with your wife? How do you go through this experience with your wife and not even saying you have to be this great empathetic person at the end of the day, but you don't go through with your wife this 9 months plus of this traumatic experience, and knowing how the doctors and powers that be treated her, and then, even if we want to loop in Lino and all of this, knowing, like, what's going on with him and his mother, even if we don't know if Barton may be experimenting on him, all that, if we're just taking Lorraine's story at face value, that my sister was a terrible parent because of her mental issues, and we had to take him in, like, within all it, where's your empathy? Where's your compassion? Like, what is going on in your mind? What is happening but what type of husband were you? Truly, what type of husband?
These are the questions, because it's you. How can you, in any, not even going to say in good conscience, in any sort of conscience, play with the life of your child knowing that you have already lost one? Like, how does that compute in your mind? Like, I don't care how solid this study or whatever that you read supposedly looked like it was. you know that you are rewriting this child's mind.
Yeah.
How can you conceive of that being okay?
And an option at all. Like, it's one thing to be like, you're going to learn the violin and make that person take violin lessons. That's okay. That's still okay, relax. But that is ultimately, even if they hate it, you have now gained a skill that will eventually help you in the future if you so choose. You can play the violin. Everybody can't do that. This, I'm going to rewrite your entire, and then who's to say, let's say it worked. How long? He was 13. Let's say he hits puberty. Does it just stop? Well, no, you hit puberty at 13, right? Whatever. Let's say he gets to be 18, 19, and it wears off. Or he has these, I don't know, mental issues where now he's the body in this. I'm not a medical professional. This is just an example, but the mind has split. So now there's this dissonance where there's the Tom that was rewrote, but there's also the Tom that is true to him.
There's so many X factors in this. Again, it just shows how stupid aversion therapy is. But two, it's just like, what? How did you make this okay? Like, it's to the point where, honestly, truthfully, like, they have to either write this back or make it so that Tom walk this back. I mean, or make it so that Tom fails, because there is no reconciliation. Like I'd be very interested to see how they get through this if they don't, one, walk this back, or two, let Tom fail and he don't get to rescue Barton and be okay with that. That man can't be on this show and it'd be okay. It can't.
Yeah, because I'm now. If we were to get a season, well, when we get a season 2, I can definitely see, because of the soap opera-ness of it all, Barton being there. But I would never, like the way I feel about Nathan. Oh, Nathan can come in my home. He can eat food. I will run him a bath. If we're thinking about Nathan versus Barton with this revelation, oh, Nathan, all this shit I've said about him in all past episodes, this one included, Nathan, come on. I welcome you with open arms, because Barton, no thanks.
Honestly, truthfully, he edging out even Rashida Jones.
No, to be quite honest, and that's the thing. That's what I do like about this, though, because my thought is, this is terrible. Barton is shitty. He is horrible. He did this. But what did Susannah parents do? Like, not to equate like oppression or struggles, but like, if this is what he was doing to Tom, what was going on with Susannah? Because what I'm gathering from this is not necessarily, not that it's just a bad thing, but that these bad things are targeted. Like, we're taking this a certain way that I feel like a heterosexual person probably would not, on average. So on the flip side, when it comes to Susannah, what is something that would have been done to her? Like, did they beat her because she wasn't smart enough, or like?
I don't know if it went so far as to beating her, because I think about it like this. I feel Susannah said when she was back in her memory, she was like, I don't remember the exact quote, but she was like, I'll be smart and like you love me or whatever, and she popped the pill. I think that definitely they were emotionally abusive and probably over a period of time. Whereas this is not in Barton's defense, but like in the scene that we saw, the flashback scene, after he said the whole like, why are you painting the pink? And Tom was like, oh, because I like it. Barton's like, well, as long as you like it. So it's this weird thing where it's still bad, and I'm pretty sure it's manipulation, because he knows what to do. But in this weird sort of way that can be looked over by Tom, whereas it seems like Susannah's parents were just openly abusive, like emotionally, like for a long period of time. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, and that's why she killed him. In my continuity, in my head canon, she murdered those people. And it also makes me think, like, if we're going to get into it, what were Zenzi parents like? Because these are all peers. Like, their parents were peers of each other. Chris family is shitting on him, like, though the Darbys presented one way, Chris let it be known, like, I don't got it like that. I don't got it like you, Tom. My parents ain't really check up for me like that. Susannah parents were terrible. We find out Barton did this terrible thing. What would Zenzi parents be like? Birds of the same feather?
I just know because it's all in my mind now. Like we know that Zenzi's parents was a level of trash.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that they were spending all their money trying to keep up appearances to the point where they were neglecting like Zenzi and them like actual needs.
Yeah.
I don't know why Zenzi. I don't think she got no siblings. I don't know why I said
No. I think they would have been.
But like they were neglecting like her actual needs, just trying to keep up appearances. So we know that they were trash too. We don't know like if they were comparable with Susannah's parents or with Barton or whatever. But they were somewhere in that trash circle.
See, that is so wild. Like that would definitely be something that could be explored in the season too. Like looking at the children of this trauma, Zenzi, Tom, Susannah, and Lino as well. Depending on what his true origin is like, and Chris, and then even Regina Jenkins or Jackson. Was it Jenkins or Jackson with the ashy ankles from the cotillion?
I don't know.
Regina something. And not to say her parents were just, but they could be like this is a bit of a reach, but the very fact that she showed up at that cotillion in full cotillion regalia, it's like, girl, if you're so successful, why are you living?
Baby, let this go.
So, did your parents also fuck you up where that part of your life is where you're stuck? Like that was success to you, trying to prove that you're the best. This golden child, like this is. Look,
listen.
Writers' room.
If they wanted to go there,
look,
go there.
It's like, oh my, because I could even see, well, not 100%, but not okay. Well, I can't see Tom being on the rollback, but I can see where if you make it so that the rollback is this like brainchild of Susannah from that trauma, seeing again what these adults and their shortcomings have done, adults who have money, who have inventions or invest in inventions, seeing the shortcomings there, not necessarily Tom joining the rollback, but there being some sort of alliance between these children of trauma to figure out how are we moving forward. So
I will tell you this. If we didn't know for a fact that the rollback was out here killing folk, after this episode, I could 110% see Tom being like, all right, yeah, let's go. What we doing?
Yeah. Oh my God, this is so fucking good. Like, I'm with you. I could definitely have seen that. And these parents are terrible. I truly what is Lorraine? Think about Lorraine and Claire. Claire come back next episode. What?
That's why Lorraine letting Claire mind wipe her.
Wow, because she traumatized too. She's like, oh, this ain't what happened? What is going on? She's in Bel Air losing it. Oh my God. But no, but even with Claire, I feel like Claire is a little older than them, maybe by 7 years or so. Maybe a little bit more. She's probably in her 30s in the show. But even her, and I'm going to speak on this once, and please don't chop my head off because I'm not Asian, but the stereotype that I've always seen growing up when it comes to Asian folks is that there being this extreme, immense pressure at being successful as the child. So even if we're going to roll that into this like children of trauma, she has shown, now if anybody has shown, she is trying to run the company. She is going to do whatever it takes. And like, is that part of it? Or are you like Rowan, where maybe you don't come from money and you find yourself in a situation where you have to, I don't know.
See. If they really wanted to, and if we're gonna put it into the universe,
yes,
HBO Max picks up the next season, you could very easily have this become this thing was like, okay, now we got to deal with all this trauma and all this chaos that comes from our upbringing, because this shit has fucked all us up.
Yeah. Yeah, equally. Like, and this is where I'm not even mad at the wealth, because I think sometimes you can get shows where they focus so much on look at these wealthy people and look at these wealthy people problems. Where like this being a child of wealth and then this situation, it's like exacerbated because you have so much money. So you can see where Susannah is coming from, not with her having control, but just the idea that wealth and money and invention unchecked is causing so many more problems, i.e., her gummies that messed her up, messed up Tom, and who else? We don't know how many other people may have given this to their children.
True,
You know,
true.
so
Hell, for all we know, these gummies could have made Leno the way he is.
yes, and that's another thing, because if Susannah's gummies made her a little bit smarter or whatnot, and then they were altered to, let's just say it did work on Tom and it did alter his chemistry and made him heterosexual, then who's to say, like you said, that didn't happen with Leno? And then what is the age difference with Violet and Lorraine? Because did we experiment on Violet?
Exactly. She could have been a
You
test
know?
dummy. And it could have gone so far as to it ain't even got to be an age difference. The fact
Mm-hmm.
that she was older taking this is probably why it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work so well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whew. And if she took it while pregnant, like maybe Leno got the good parts of whatever was going on and she got the side effects. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. This show, there's so many
It's, yeah.
sci-fi, blacks and sci-fi. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Because I, I hate to say this, but I want to see more of Susannah. Because I feel like she has, with her, she has brought so much revelation that if we never got, we still would have gotten a good show. But like,
Yeah.
if we never got this, and now I see her being the lead of the rollback in a way that I didn't see that these
Yeah.
last few episodes. I was like,
Yeah.
what am I? But I get it now, and it makes so much sense that we need her. She's
Yeah.
the art to buy as well. Like she truly is. So, uh I love
Yeah.
this show. I just, oh we. So Barton,
Can die.
yeah, you can just drift. What he got, like another month? Because I think Tom
It's
says he
fine.
has 3 months of
It's okay.
oxygen or whatever. Like, just
You can
go.
stay. Mm-hmm.
Just I don't like him. I don't. Yeah, I don't see any way that they could turn this around with Barton. I truly don't. Um, yeah, screw him. So Lorraine and Claire. I don't know what we're gonna get next episode. I think I saw Claire crying. I don't know if like it went by too quick. I didn't revisit because I don't like watching the trailer for the
Yeah.
next episode. I like to just be surprised. Um,
Mhm.
this being the last episode, it has to do a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah. Now, yes, but I don't want to put too much on it for the
Mm-hmm.
simple fact is I'm pretty sure that they didn't know that they won't have to try to wrap up everything in this
Oh
episode.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. After that deadly class bull mess,
Yeah.
I'm not going to. Whatever critiques I have for episode 10, it will not be for that, because I do
Yeah.
understand thinking you got a season 2, or even if you didn't think you had a season 2, wrapping up things in a way that you could have a season 2. So I'm not. Yeah, that won't be part of my critique. Um, Zenzi and Isaac going on a love affair rescue mission. How do we feel about this?
I'm actually very here for it. I am very here for it.
You froze?
Oh,
Okay, well, I'll say what I feel about it because you froze.
the froze.
No, okay, you back. Go ahead.
Um, I'm very here for it.
Mm,
I am very here for it. Like that's I'm actually really excited to see what they end up doing.
yes. I feel like I've been wanting this for a while. And I'm hoping that we do get, even if they're just a B plot, I hope we do get some very much Mr. and Mrs. Smith style on the run, Beyonce, Jay-Z collecting the pieces back of a black motorcycle. Like, don't let Justin and Tom be the only folks on the motorcycle. Yeah, I know we said all that stuff about
Listen.
Lucy standing her ground. I don't care. Throw it all out the window. I want them to at least kiss.
Mhm.
So I'm very much looking forward to that. However, I feel like Zenzi is right. Even though I don't like Barton, I do feel like it makes sense to go after those pieces to bring him back, because the last thing I would want is for Tom to, again, he's learning about something at 22 that Susannah learned about when she was 13. So I would hate for him to have a delay where 5, 10 years from now, even 6 months from now, after all the oxygen is going out of Barton's ship, and you're like, damn, I should have brought him back to at least confront him or something. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
so though I don't like Barton and I don't like what Zenzi is doing, I completely understand why. And I think it's good that her and Isaac are doing it.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely. I can step out of my anger for long enough to be like, yeah, she's right. Like,
Yeah.
because you are gonna want, like you said, at least to confront.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That I I wish we had a better handle on what Lorraine did. What is her claim to fame? Because I think about the fallout and I'm thinking, is Swift Enterprises strictly the brainchild of Barton? Like, is he the wealthy scientist? Like, because Violet is having these issues, well, no, I shouldn't say because, but with Violet and Lino being introduced, does Lorraine not come from wealth? Does she not come from education, science? Like, what is her story with Barton's, so that if this happens and there's a split, true enough, you're the wife, so you get half of everything, or however that's going to work out. But like, do you have your own situation that
Um,
isn't, oh, I was poor and then became wealthy with education? Like, are you born into wealth like Barton, or like where do you stand?
I'm inclined to say that they don't. That Lorraine doesn't come from money, for the simple fact of thinking about her sister.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Yeah,
like if they, I feel like if they came from money, that situation would have played out differently.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that was the thing. I kind of felt bad about thinking that, but that's exactly what's my thought process was like. No, the fact that you found Lino at 3 years old in the house, like covered in food or whatever she said, and like that feels, but I don't know. Yeah, because you would have like they would have like checked her into a facility or something. Like, she would have
Yeah.
been, and then like, who's Lino daddy? Is
Also
it
that.
Bart? You
Hmm.
know, like Harry mentioned, is Lino truly, like, is Lino Lorraine's child? Because like, was Violet the surrogate? Like, yeah, we had Tom, but Tom and Lino, how many years between them? Lino is 16, right? 16.
Hmm.
That's a
He
6 year.
mentioned. I'm gonna say Tom mentions being like in the last episode, he was old enough to wrap Lino in a blanket.
Yeah, so that's about 6 or 7 year difference. I could see that. So Lino 3, um, Tom 10 or 11. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Um, but then I think Tom would have memory of, well, no, Lorraine wouldn't have been pregnant. Violet would have been. I don't know. But all that being said, drama and stress be damned. That conversion therapy really blew everything for me.
Yep.
So Susannah was making some points, and Barton is the devil. Uh, I think I got Rashida. I took hella notes this episode. Um, Justin and Tom's relationship, weird. Um, so I did the June 14th thing. That this is approximately, I say, June 21st. This episode.
Mhm.
Um, Ashley acted her ass off. That crying and screaming.
Ooh.
The attraction correction gummies. I love me some Isaac, but that man always looks like he is suspicious or something. He'd be like, my brother, I'm like, wait a minute. Isaac, we just going to get some cereal. He always looks suspicious. I'm like, okay, I'm with you. Whatever you suspicious, I suspicious too.
Bye.
So the line Isaac says, you should never have to, you should be with someone you trust. She says, Zenzi says, I trust you. And Isaac says, I'd never give you a reason not to. Y'all just kiss. Because even with that, Zenzi moved on so quick from that. I'm like, just kiss.
Please. Please.
And Operation Mosley. I don't know what that is. I can't recall. I don't think that name has been mentioned in this season.
Do you remember the name of the FBI spy that Tom and Susannah talked about? I just want to make sure it's not that person.
I do not. No, not the one she killed, right?
Not them. Susannah mentioned something about somebody knowing how to work the side that they were on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom was like, "Oh, like this famous person."
Oh, I know it wasn't. I'm 90% confident it wasn't Mosley. But now that you mention that, I do not know.
I'm gonna see, can I find it?
I do not know. Oh my god. Yeah, I wonder what Operation Mosley is because
No,
Susannah.
the man's name was Ernest Withers.
Okay, yeah, no, okay. So yeah, okay. I'd be forgetting that this show is in New York. Yeah, 'cause she was like, yeah, it's in a bunker in Tribeca. And I was like, what? Girl, is this? What are you talking about? Is this not in Buckhead? What is this? So, so yeah, okay. So I don't know. All in all, I think this was a good episode. It left me with feelings. With
Yeah.
Zenzi and Tom having the God, I forgot about that scene. So after Tom uses the Swift sight and Zenzi's administering it, and we get the flashback. Tom and Zenzi have this moment where she's trying her best to comfort him, and he is telling her, I'm fine, essentially, don't touch me. And T.N. Richards really, he definitely gets across the pain and anger, like everything about that, even with him getting that bat, getting ready to destroy that machine, with him crying. I'm not gonna hold you up. When he fell into Zenzi's arms crying, I was definitely affected.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it now. Like, just remember, like, see, give Tien his things. Give Ashley her things. Like,
please. Yeah, that was rough to watch. And I'm more than certain that that's a big reason why I'm like team fuck Barton forever.
Yeah, because and really at this point, I would be upset at a retcon if we walk this back and it's like Barton's like, oh, the actual thing was those were, I don't know, vitamins, a test, like it wasn't this thing, and you truly had an allergic reaction to like cinnamon pills or something. I would be mad. Like, don't, and I don't think that's the way this show would go. But like, don't walk this back. Don't retcon this. Like, this is let's stand up in it.
So, okay.
Oh no.
Devil's advocate, what else can you do?
Yeah. No, you're because I mean I can't think of anything outside of a retcon. Like, you're misremembering, because Tom does have an allergy to something where he needed that EpiPen. So we could, so that's been established. But I just don't want them to retcon that, because I also think it's important to tell this story with the black family, because every time you get conversion therapy stories, you do, like, historically I've seen white gays, and they're
Yeah.
not the only people dealing with this. Like, I can point to But I'm a Cheerleader with homegirl from Orange is the New Black and all that. It's her. Several episodes of Will and Grace, where there was that, it was played for a joke where the woman was more masculine, the guy was effeminate, but that still was
Yeah.
discussing conversion therapy. Um, there's countless other shows that I only bring those two to mind right away, but I cannot recall seeing this story being told from a black lens or a POC lens, because I'm sure it happens and has happened
Yeah.
to other races. But so, as terrible as this was, I am kind of happy that this story is out.
Yeah.
But whew, the heavy
There's an
lifting you have
entire
to do. Mhm.
Exactly. There's an entire documentary. I haven't watched it yet because every time I boot it up, I turn it off because I know it's gonna take me through. But there's a
Mhm.
whole documentary on Netflix about conversion therapy, and just in the little snippets and stuff that I have seen, it seems like it's primarily white cast.
Mhm.
Um, and I will also say, like, I agree with you. Like, I think that we need this story, but I'm looking at it. I don't write for television, but I do
Mhm.
write, and I'm just looking at this like, where do you go with his character from here? Like, he pretty much has to die, like, because there's no way that he can exist and they be a family unit after this type of revelation.
I mean, and that's a story in and of itself. Because if he comes back, Lorraine finds out that she's done with him. Not being funny, her and Claire got some homoerotic relationship. Who's to say that they don't end up together? And then you all have to work together, because even though you're back and you're alive, a lot has happened in 6, 7, 8 months. Where
Mhm.
now Claire is, taking over. Tom has been working to get you back. He hates you. Like, I think it could work as far as the story is concerned, but I don't know how you make him likable again.
Yeah,
I don't. I would be fine with him coming back to Earth, but I just know I would never root for him. I would root for Nathan before I would ever root for Barton again.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm, that's sad.
Sad, huh?
Mm-mm-mm. Barton, you gotta go.
You
You gotta
got to
go.
at
You
this
got.
point. You have to.
And well, the other thing that I want to know that's been kind of hanging in the distance is what was the rest of that message? Because who's to say that Barton, this doesn't make it right, but who's to say that he wasn't confessing? Like, I did this. I'm sorry. Understand that I was wrong, but I love you, and it's not just because I need your help to bring me back to Earth. Like, we don't know what the rest of that message said, and it better be a damn good. He
You
better
think
be
that?
curing cancer, AIDS, the economy. Like, he better be curing everything in that last message, or else, like, you know, I don't care anymore.
I also want to say that I had completely forgotten about this until this moment. But that's another thing of the show setting something up and then paying it off by the end of the episode, because at the beginning, Tom was just like, "Oh, what's the likelihood of my dad being saying that he loves me at the end of this?" And he cuts off Barclay before he tells him the actual results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that those odds are pretty low.
Oh, like, where do you go? You said that, but where do you go from here if Barton doesn't come back, or if he does? Because if he does, the entire season, this mission we've been working on to get to you has now been proven to be a bust, because you still hate my existence.
Mhm.
You Am I good enough now that I've brought you back from space? Is that how I'm good enough? Because regardless of who I'm fucking, that intellect is there. So, Barton,
Good luck.
you
I
like,
wish you an ounce of luck.
yeah, you don't deserve nothing. And then technically you dead. So, like, you don't have no rights to, well, I don't know how that works, but you don't have no rights to nothing. So let him join the roll back then. That'll be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Look, he done lost everything, and so all he got left is the rollback. So
That would be satisfying. I'd be okay with that.
hey, Susannah make him her right hand man.
Ooh, that would be some
Yeah,
messy.
oh, you didn't want to join it? I got your daddy. And what if the big what if? But what if the rollback actually brought him back? Because does Barton? Can we assume that Barton even knows about the rollback?
Would you assume? Didn't he say something? I mean, I know what we said about the first episode, but
Mm-hmm.
didn't he say that somebody like sabotaged him?
Yeah, he did say that.
So I would venture to say probably.
Hmm. He ain't got nothing but time up there to think about who could it be. If he come back, he better come back with a bunch of answers right away. Like, oh my God, Claire did this, and Lorraine is back. Tubman said, I don't know. He better come back with something, or else let's send his ass back to space.
Go back.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I have.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I got. We do have quite a few comments actually. Okay, so Harry, I love this show too. I came for the sci-fi and stayed for the amazing storytelling. Yes, we agree, Harry. Harry Hawk says episode 9 felt the most authentic for all of the characters. Everyone hit 100% real. Yes, I definitely agree. He says Justin was more vulnerable, more ego fragility. And see, I don't even have an issue with Justin. I just have an issue with the connection between the earlier Justin and this one. I think it's one thing to be like a bit softer, a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more open to something, but it's a whole nother thing to be like, yeah, let's get married. Oh, I love hearing Justin Swift. I'm like, what? Girl.
And even if that is where we end up, like you got to get us there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's the key right there. There was there was that sexy nude, quote unquote CW style nude, those pictures from the chocolate cowboy, but after that,
bye.
I don't remember nothing else. Harry says the biggest thing about Justin was that he works for Swift Enterprises, but he was introduced by Tom's mom, but he really seems to have the wrong idea. Like very, very wrong idea. And what's Justin's family life like? Did you whatever. Right.
We got enough screwed up parents.
No, yeah, and his parents probably in that boat too. So, so Justin's mind played with by Susannah. Okay, so I'll say that. So I want to publicly, I want to issue an apology to Justin because I was very much under the impression that he's part of the rollback, and I think the way they're setting him up, he is just into Tom, and he's being manipulated. Yeah, so I need to because I was.
No, same.
Yeah. He's lucky part of the rollback. So he may very well be part of it, but from what we got this episode, no, that's not what it's showing, that he's just eager to please and happen to be getting wrapped up in the wrong people. But
yeah, I have to concur. I've been saying Justin's evil for quite some time. I thought he was behind episode 6.
Yes,
so
yes.
I must apologize. I was incorrect.
Yeah, which makes me now question Quinn. Like I still don't got good feelings about Quinn, but I'm like, with us getting Claire next episode, maybe I don't know. I still don't, because of that Zenzi scene. I'll eat those words too if it comes down to it, but I don't trust Quinn. Sorry, Harry, I don't trust Quinn. Harry says, so the rollback is racist. At the start, I would have said 110%, 100% murder, but we do have proof of racism. See, for me, the racist element comes from the rollback and the conversations surrounding them. Because even in this episode, the very fact that Tom mentioned, like, you want me to be your house slave or your house boy or whatever, and her response wasn't, this isn't about race, it's about technology. Not that would have made it that much better. I just feel like all of the conversations that have been surrounding the rollback is showing, because Tom even said, like, a certain time for white folks is a very not verbatim detrimental time for black people, and like that was never challenged. It was more or less like, oh, we all just want to, like, oh, I don't see color. Like, no. So I don't know that it has been explicitly stated the rollback is a racist organization, but every conversation surrounding them proves that to be the case. And with this being a show, now if this was a show with the creative team were white people, then I'd say no. Maybe we're inferring that. But with this being a creative team that is black, brown, and marginalized folks, no, absolutely that's what it is. I can say that with like 99.99% confidence that yes, the rollback is a racist organization.
And I will say that they might not be intentionally being racist, but that's how it's ended up.
I mean, that's what happened with systems that are set up where you may not intend anything. I can tell you, oh, I don't like Wanda. You have a Wanda shirt on.
I do. I forgot.
And you know, and that's that. But it's a whole nother thing for me to set up a situation where anyone who likes Wanda gets stabbed with a needle. It wasn't intentionally to go after you, but you just happen to be someone who's wearing a Wanda shirt. So you're in the car. So again, so to your point, they may not inherently be focusing on being racist, but when these systems are set up by these people with these biases, there's this fallout that is affecting people that do not look like them. So yeah, no, there's a racist organization. He also says, speaking of the pilot, Tom was coming out to his dad, family, the world, but clearly his dad already knew. Oh yeah, parents be knowing.
Yeah,
and his I'm sure his mama knew too. I know Lorraine knew what was up. She knew very bad. Because even Chris Darby, who was 41 when Tom was 13, he knew. So you know. That Medicare eligible asshole, he knew. I'm sick of Chris and his mama and daddy, his silent mama, his Dr. Voodoo ass daddy. Harry says, speaking of Ron, why isn't he dead? Susannah Rob one. A, he is loyal to the rollback. B, from the future and immune to Susannah Rob's tech. C, from the future and is the avatar of Barclay. And D, who knows? I would assume is that she doesn't know, because he's right. The way I look at it, it's Susannah Rob, and then if we're just looking at the people we have in the show, whatever council of mysterious folks, and then like Nathan, and then underneath Nathan would be Rowan, the Latin hitman, and all them other folks, because they're like his charges. So I don't think that she knows that Rowan, because I doubt that she would literally be like, where is that black boy who be with you? Like, I feel like she wouldn't care. It would be more or less what's going on with Nathan. And then when issues with Nathan arise, then maybe Rowan gets roped in. But I don't think she knows.
Yeah, I agree with that. But B is fine. B is fine.
Yes. I'm hoping that's the case. Lord, like I said, we got Swift Sight. Andre Sante says, "Oh goodness, I came in just trying to hear about the grossest scene in the episode." Lord Jesus, yeah. He says, "Me and Cameron are going to have a talk about this." Yes, good Lord. Like, we may have to see if Cameron can come back so we can cuss him out. 45 people yelling at him. Lord. Andre says, until this is retcon, or if Rashida Jones is lying, I'm gonna have to pretend Braxton doesn't exist. No, I'm with you. Yes. And I don't. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's it. Just yes. I don't think I've ever been this mad at Braxton. Even when he popped up in Black Lightning, I wasn't this mad at him.
Don't say that. I think this is, for all the evil that Rashida Jones is, I don't think that this was something to lie about. I don't, because what's the long game? True enough, it may be like, get all our parents dead and then rewrite history. Sure. But that doesn't seem like that's her MO. Because why do all that when I can just tell you the truth? The truth is worse. But
like, if the only way that I could believe that she would have lied about this was if this immediately ended up with Tom joining the rollback. But there's nothing in this that's going to motivate him to be like, you know what? Let me join the rollback. If anything, this would make him be like, fuck all y'all.
Yeah. No, yeah. You've put me through hell. I'm done. Like, I'm not inventing anything. Okay, so it's Regina Jackson. Andre confirmed that Ashley Regina Jackson. Harry says, can Susannah Robb use Tom's trauma to turn to the road back? I think you may have just touched on that, trauma or not, this would be the thing to push him away. Like, why would I join a collective if I just realized my daddy tried to ultimately change the very fiber of my being? Why would that wouldn't make me want to join your group? That would make me want to be away from everybody
I
or go
feel
off with Rowan.
Yeah, I feel like with Susanna, it makes sense because she
Mm-hmm.
was young enough to kind of be like, swear off all technology after
Mm-hmm.
that like situation. But with
Mm-hmm.
Tom, even with this whole screwed up thing that happened with Barton, he pretty much too far gone to be like, fuck technology, let me join the road back. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this leading him to be like, yeah, I'm about to join y'all.
Mm-hmm. No, not at all. Especially when he has it in his head, which we all do. This is a racist organization. Like you
Yeah.
can, there could be a Klan member who can tell me about all of the terrible things that are going on. I'm like, no, you're absolutely right. That's not making me join you. No, like we can agree that these things are terrible, but we can also agree that you'll never get me in one of those sheets. So you know what I'm saying? Like even if you're dressing it up in a nice business suit, you're still this organization who sees my very existence as less than. Why
Yeah.
would I? So fuck them. Harry says there's a lot of brain changing and manipulation tech in this show, including the lip cream. Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
think time travel is possible. I really feel like we hit the nail on the head with that time travel. I do. Harry says, I feel Tom's intelligence is naturally earned and nurtured as being in a family of inventors. Yep, and I agree. And what you said, M. Haynes, about the gummies being altered, I 100% agree as well. And that's where my head canon is. I don't want that to be why he's smart.
Yeah.
Um, Andre says, maybe those pills are why evil Rashida Jones is crazy. No, yeah.
Honestly, truthfully.
Because she even said it. She said my bones are deteriorating. Well, I always mess up on that word. And what did she say? It was something about her mind. Damn. What did she say? But I know she said like her bones, like by the time she's 40, no, like
Yeah.
she's done. So yeah, like I'm sure, and especially if she created them and like she was tested on with those, like who knows? Whew. And which again, I'm kind of seeing her side of things. Like if I know I'm about to be out this thing, let's go ahead and and I'd hate for her to have a child because like we don't even think about that. Like what would that do to her body that's already going
Mm-hmm.
downhill? Like would that put her like violent? Like oh, but yeah, yeah. Oh man. Claire's gonna be crying instant win. Yeah, I don't know. I think I may be projecting my wish fulfillment and thinking she's gonna cry. I feel like she was crying though.
All I remember is her being hemmed up.
Okay, either way, but if she does cry, Brittany, you are an amazing actress. But Claire, good.
But wait. We have to be careful
Oh yeah.
because what is the reason that Claire would be crying?
Oh yeah, and oh yeah, because she also loves this company. Like she's dirty, yeah, but she seems to really love this company. So if she is crying, it can't be off no. You ain't black woman. You'll never run this company like Lorraine said before. Lorraine was out cold for that. So I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Ooh. Or maybe she cried because Barton is back and didn't live in the house no more.
Child, I'm gonna cry with her then.
I was like, Lord, and yeah, because even whatever. This is gonna be fun. I'm tweeting my ass off on Tuesday. Um, Andre says Isaac and Zenzi handling this on their own makes so much sense because they've been highly capable all season. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And with the opening we got from episode 8, I really want to see what these two got going on. I want some of that. That was chef's kiss. Harry says family dynamics. Tom learned from his granddad, confidence, but may also be arrogance. Yeah, he is. He is a bit of a. I wonder what this is in reference to. But you're right. Whatever, because that's true. Here he also says, what year was it when Tom got his straight pills? No, boy, no. Okay, so here he says, what year was it when Tom got his straight pills? It was in 1950 or 60s, but maybe Barton was under pressure from his own dad, Tom's granddad. Clearly, Barton effed up, but why? See, I could even give you that. I still don't feel nothing for Barton, but I could even give you that. But I don't know because we've mentioned his granddad. We haven't seen his granddad. And so I don't know if he's just some big lovable Santa Claus type character or if he's a hard ass evil man. So that's something to consider, but
It ain't no excuse
at all. Here it says Claire worked for Tom's dad for 10 years, so at least 8 years older. Okay. Thank you for that. Because I couldn't, I know she's a bit. Okay, so then I wonder if we're doing 8 years, if we're doing 10 years, 8 years older would be
if they're
30.
22, 30.
Yeah, it'd be 30. But then if we're doing 10 years ago, she's 20 and he is 8. Wait, that's not right. 18? No, what am I doing? 8.
If she 20,
12. Good Lord. God, I can't count. I just counting podcast. So he's 12, she's 20. So I wonder if she was around. Yeah, so that would put her right at. Ooh,
what
if she's responsible for altering those drugs? Like she's the person who changed them. Like, Lord, I hate Claire. I hate her so much. She's so terrible.
Don't you? We don't know that. Don't you put that on there?
You're right. I still don't like her. No. Oh my God. What if she? No, let's move on. Because
don't put that on there lady.
Yeah, she might not have nothing. She was just getting hired. Lord. Andre says, I think Melinda, Sue Taylor, and Tien and Ashley spend time together between takes, helping each other decompress and handle the emotion of that scene. I hope so.
That's something that you need, you need to work through because me just watching it.
Yeah, so acting like and then I don't know these people, but who's to say that Tien hasn't dealt with something similar? Maybe not, beat for beat, but something similar in his own life. And I'm not even just saying his dad. Like, you have a lot to pull from when you grew up in a certain time where shit like this is just normal. So, Andre says, I could see the pills being intended to boost Tom's intellect to ensure he's a genius, but that's part wishful. Yeah, that's wishful thinking. Those was conversion therapy pills. Harry says, when Tom hears Barton's full message that may change things, there's always room for forgiveness. Now, Harry, you are a wonderful soul, and I love everything about your conversation, your attentiveness about the show. You're a great person. But let me tell you this. As right as you are with there being room for forgiveness, one thing that's not going to happen, because Susannah Robb has had 10 years to come to terms with what her parents did to her. Tom has had one night. No forgiveness will be had here, not in this season. There is nothing. I'm sorry. There is nothing. Okay.
I'm sorry. They tickled the hell out of me.
So, Harry, I do appreciate you and your optimism. We need that.
But maybe he was talking about for us.
Oh, no. Then that's a dead no. That's no. That's an absolute no. Now for Tom, maybe, but no. No, at all. Because I'm sure that he's the reason why Lino is the way he is too. So no.
Yeah.
F that. So thank you, Harry. I'll take that into consideration, but no, thank you. I'm sorry. Andre says he pretty much has to die here for. Yep. This is it. He says Rashida Jones made us turn against my right now. What if it turned out that she lied? No, but no. At this point, it ain't no lie. But just some get out shit. So fuck him. No, Oh my God. Okay. Andre says I could see Rashida Jones intercepting Barton when he returns, telling him Tom abandoned him over the pills. Anything else is possible. Yeah, I could see that. I'm just not convinced that the road. Okay. Well, I'm not convinced that they are aware that he's alive. Um, and even if so, they don't have that capsule. I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I don't, and maybe intercept them because they do have satellites, but I don't see it going that way.
Yeah.
Hmm. Here he says, why is Swift site get to Justin's home? Fake text message from Tom. It was from Susannah Robb. Or did Tom really want to give it to her? Justin had the Swift site at home because of his work for Swift Enterprises. Oh, see, I didn't
We
read it
didn't
that
talk
way.
about that.
I thought it was at, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Justin had Swift site at home because of his work for Swift Enterprise. I get that. But I thought we were
I
still at
did,
Tom's.
I did too.
Yeah, no, no, no. This has to. I think you may be right in the sense that he was like talking about the specs for it, but I'm under the impression that yeah, because no, no, because Justin took his coat out of that big ass room, got that text, be it from Tom or Susannah, and like was cheesing and then ran to the room, which I think it was probably from Susannah.
I'm
Um,
I I'm pretty sure. Like I'm like 95% sure that she did something to hack and get that message because as soon as she got it, she was like, "Oh, now our plans are back on schedule." She said that.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think I'm thinking all this is still at Tom's house because yeah, and then okay, who's that? Who was that man who gave ah, who gave Justin what he gave him a pen or something? Who gave him a Swift site? He gave him something.
I don't
Who
know.
was who was that?
I'm done with
I can't think
you.
who was that. Harry says, why does Susanna Robb need Swift site? How does that match up with the plans Lorraine has? A few episodes ago, she mentioned they had to change the timeline. We in the multiverse of madness, Harry. I have no idea. I feel some.
um,
I'll go ahead.
I have a thing. I think because when Lorraine said that she was talking to the Reverend, right?
Mm, about their timeline.
Yeah. Well, she was talking to somebody from the Harriet Tubman Society.
Oh, that's probably that lady then. Yeah, that yeah,
Okay.
the Reverend lady. Mm.
I'm pretty sure that because the whole thing, what they're doing is trying to make Black Planet. I'm pretty sure that after she found out that her husband like had been murdered and not just had died, she was like, okay, yeah, we need to hurry up and get to Black Planet because the
Yeah,
people is after us.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
now, why Susannah needs Swift Sight, I guess that's what we're gonna find out next week.
I say time travel. I'm
I agree.
I'm I'm dedicated because if we roll back, if we go back in time and kill all these folks and they can't make these inventions, and then we are aware of those inventions, we can make them for ourselves. So I'll say time travel. He says, but Susanna Robb is tracking all the operatives. She would have seen him in Seattle in Tom's wine cellar. Rowan. See, I don't. I'm not under the impression that she's tracking Rowan because for me, the way I perceive it, Rowan is tied directly to Nathan, and whereas the Latino assassin initially seemed that way, but when it came out that Nathan is essentially kidnapped, into this life, that's her agent. Rowan
So
to me. Go ahead.
no, the point, and this may be a dumb question,
Mm.
is does Rowan work for the congressman, or is he directly like in the road back?
I think both. Well, the way I see it, and again, I could be wrong, is that Nathan is in the role back, and Rowan is with Nathan. We don't know how they got together, but I always took it as Rowan is Nathan's Isaac. He is his right hand man. He is his bodyguard. He is his doer of things. In the same way that Latin assassin is probably Susanna Robb's Isaac.
Okay.
So that's the way I took it. And so like it's kind of all encompassing that you are just in here because of me.
Mhm.
Um, that's the way I perceived it. I could be wrong, but that's how I saw it.
No, that makes sense. And with that in mind, if Rowan works for Nathan, and just because Nathan is wrapped up in the rollback, Rowan is wrapped up in the rollback. then Susannah Robb wouldn't be tracking Rowan.
That's
That makes
I,
sense.
I see it. Yeah, no, that's how I see it too. If
Yeah.
anybody should be tracking Nathan, like, and especially if she thinks, oh, this is just this bodyguard. He's helping the cause. Like,
Right.
forget him. But her folks explicitly are coming to kill people.
Yes.
Showing up because if she did track him, she would have tracked him to Adrina's house when they went and got that baby. She would have been able to see
Yeah.
him, you know,
Yeah.
all
True.
around the place. Now, I do want to bring up the bug that's in the observatory that was revealed at the end of the last episode. Like, okay, now don't bite my head off. If Rowan is truly playing the long game, does that have something to do with it? Like, I don't see Rowan doing that, but like, what is that? They showed that for a reason. So
I don't know. I had forgotten about it up until you said it, so I don't even know.
Harry says her liver. Harry, what is this in reference to? We've been talking out.
Oh boy, it may be in reference to the stuff that was going on with Susannah Robb.
Oh yeah, okay. Lord, you took us back. Thank you. Yes, her liver and her bones. Yeah. And then Andre says, is the gel going to be used in conjunction with Swift Sight, mind control, and mental conditioning? Now that would be a time. If you do that and then have Lorraine dress up as that white man that died 50 years ago, like she did in episode 6, ain't no telling what's gonna happen. Because you already know. She was playing. She played too much. Don't turn into the doctor that let your baby die. Don't do that.
Also, yes, let's talk about it because lady,
what are you doing? What do you? I mean, I get picking someone who Tom will uncover has been dead for a while, but like him,
lady.
I mean, okay, but don't do that. You could have been anybody. You truly could have been anyone. But I mean, I guess I get it, but no.
Not really.
No. Lord. Okay. We did it. We did it. Back. No, so let's go with some ratings. Who would be your favorite character? Episode 9 and the Night to Remember.
So I'm gonna say this one in hopes that you say my other one. I'm gonna give it to Tom.
Okay.
Honestly and truthfully, just because of the end of the episode. Yeah.
Okay. And I thought long and hard about this, and I don't think I'm gonna pick yours. I have to go with Eva Rashida Jones.
Yes, that actually was who I was thinking about.
Okay. Yeah, I have to go with her because though she's evil and I don't believe in her practices, she is truly a force to be reckoned with in a way that no one else has been. And I love that this is a woman character who could very easily, could very easily, one, rival Tom, and then two, she could have gone either way. Like she could have ended up being a just good person, because even in the rollback's message, if you take the evil stuff she's done and give her that same ideology, I don't think it's wrong, because it's like, look at what these people have done with technology.
Yeah.
If you made her more like, even when she brought up the cotton gin, if she did that with a more empathetic tone and it wasn't that undercurrent of racism, I think that it's still like the message doesn't change, but slightly. So I definitely, it's Susannah Robb for me.
I think when we were first introduced to her, we was like, oh, she's supposed to be like female Tom Swift, whatever. I think this episode really paid that off. I was like, I see it now.
Oh, absolutely. Mama knows what she's doing. She keeps her mouth closed. She had all the players on the board. She has contingency plans. She is where okay, so this is so interesting. So her and Tom about the same age. Yeah, they are the same age because she was 12 in 2012. He was 13 in 2013. So they're the same age. They're contemporaries of each other. She got this knowledge early on, which kind of radicalized her and helped the rollback thing. He didn't get that till later. Flip side, I perceive him as being smarter than her in the not necessarily intellectually, but being able to come up with these inventions. I don't get that from her. I get that she's just smart. And so he has an advantage there. But then it's like they have these parallel lives, but they keep being more advanced than the other in certain things at different times. And I like that about them.
Yeah.
They haven't done that with Tom and any other character. It's been Susannah. So she got it for me. She got it.
Kudos to you, John.
Come on, Miss Cappuccino. You got it, girl. What is your favorite scene? Or most impactful or whatever.
It's hard. Okay,
yes.
You say okay. I don't want to go with the easy one.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna do something else. But I don't know, man. Like I said at the beginning, like that scene just kind of just steamrolled the whole rest of the episode for me.
Yes.
You know what? It's gonna be Eva Rashida Jones first coming into the observatory. Because that was when she just was like, you know what? Yeah, let's just cut to the chase. Let's cut the shit. Yes. Where my people at?
Again, I kind of stand, but yes, no, that's a damn good scene. Because again, I liked because she was like, "Look, we both know what it is. You just not realizing. I also know that you know, I know, or that you know, whatever." So yeah, that I love that. So I'm gonna go with the easy one because it I'm still affected from the time that Tom put on Swift Sight to the very end. So him with Zenzi especially, that again, Tien and Ashley, give them their flowers. They did what needed to be done.
Yeah.
Even Ashley with her sympathy, like you can go through something and be sad and your friends can be there for you, but then they can also be there for you to the point where they are fit. Like her crying with him, like I think her presence in that scene is just as important as Tom's. It should not have been anyone else. And that to me put a pin in every argument that they've had so far. Because one could say, well, why the fuck are they even still friends with all the shit that Tom says to her? But like that scene, it did me in. Ashley Murray came to get the job done. Tien Richards did not come to play. Whoever wrote this episode, directed it, edited, all you motherfuckers need an applause, an award. Yeah. That's my favorite scene. It has to be. It has to be that.
Kudos to y'all and fuck y'all at the same time.
no, really, truly, honestly, and Cameron, you specifically because you told us about this. I heard you and I was like, nah, I might be sad a little bit. No, you did this. Oh God. What do you rate this episode?
So I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, come on.
Up until the time that Tom put on Swift Sight, I was dancing around like 7.5. Now I feel like I'm between 8.5 and 9. I think I'm gonna stick at 8.5, but that scene, like again, it just steamrolled the episode. And I was like, oh my God.
I went with a 9.
Okay.
I went with a hard 9. So I feel you. Because I had so much emotion and anger, I was like, they could have did cartwheels for the whole first 2 acts of this show, and then got to that, and I still would have been like, oh, 9. Like so no. To your point, I'm in the same boat. I was like, oh, I don't know, but I only hesitate to give that a 10 because I don't know what episode 10 is going to give. And I may even possibly go back and like, retroactively give this a 10, but I want to see what else they have up their sleeve. But Tien and Ashley,
Yeah.
that crying,
Yeah.
that I'm fine, him raising that bat and her jumping in the way, like I was like, yo, like y'all did that.
Yeah.
And I am affected by what y'all did.
Very much.
All the
Very, very
best
much
and
so.
worst ways. So, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I don't know. Oh, Andre says rating this 9 out of 10. Dead henchman. Boy, get okay. Yeah, I got to do 9. Barkley, I'll do 9 dead henchmen. So, I don't. I'm here.
Yeah.
So, woo. Well, listeners, if you made this far, use the hashtag GTSPod and let us know, what do you rate this episode? How many dead henchmen or how many Barclays do you rate this episode? And for those of you who maybe saw the conversion therapy pills and didn't understand, like, why was that an issue? I implore you to kind of look within yourself or do a little bit of research. And for those of you who were affected by this, you are in our hearts and prayers because that
Yes.
was heavy.
Yes.
Oof.
Strength and
So,
power to you. Strength and
yes.
power to you if that is part of your story.
Because my God, that was something. You got anything else for us?
I
Oh,
have no more words.
yeah, no, done. So let these folks know where they can find you and support you and all that stuff.
Yeah, you can check me on my website. You can find me on pretty much every social media at Loose as a Deuce. We can come and then hold hands and cry together. Because woof.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. My stuff, Carefree Blurred on Twitter and TikTok, Carefree Black Nerd everywhere else. Same. Let's have a good old nasty cry. And so thank you all for joining us for this long and this far. Check us out on Tuesday doing that live tweet for the finale. And check us back here on Thursday to talk some more mess. And until next time, stay carefree, stay nerdy, stay geeky. And if you have the opportunity to in the future alter the mind of your homosexual child, don't do it. Just don't do it, okay? Just leave it alone. It could possibly be a phase, but it may not be. Either way, just don't do it.
That's it.
Whew, all right.